Oh, hi everybody, how you doing? Well, welcome to a beautiful sunny spring afternoon in northeast Thailand, and it's bloody hot. It's starting to get very hot. It's about 35 degrees at the moment, and as you can see, I'm sweating my old proverbials off. Anyway, after a nice long well-needed holiday, I'm back on YouTube. I nearly said welcome to the Garage and Workshop build 23 but I stopped myself. If you've been following my Garage and Workshop build, you'll know basically it's nearly complete, you know, bar a few things. I've got to get the fascia boards done, soffit. I need to get this outside rendering done as well at some point. It really did pee it down with rain the other day, and it was a lot of wind as well, and it pushed the rain right onto the side wall. This is something I mentioned in one of my earlier videos. Anyway, basically because there's no render on there, the rain soaked through the cinder blocks and actually came into the workshop and flooded it out again. So I had to mop it all up. But funny enough, the window I put in the wrong way didn't actually leak at all. So, you know, I'm quite pleased with that. But like I said, it came in through the cinder blocks, and it also came in under the door here. So I need to put some kind of channel in there as well. So yeah, I do have some stuff that needs finishing. Like I said, the rendering, a few other bits and pieces. There's also some painting that needs doing as well. But I'm going to incorporate this into my future videos. Yeah, as well as the bits and pieces that need finishing, you know, obviously I'm going to do some upgrades as we go along. I'm going to buy new tools. I bought myself a drill press, an old drill press that I want to renovate. So yeah, there's going to be a few bits and pieces in the Garage Workshop build, but like I say, I'll incorporate them into my future videos. I've got plenty of stuff to get on with. I've got the well housing to do. I've got the roof and the housing to finish on my tank, water tank, and my pressure pump. I've got a couple of motorcycles that need renovating. I've got a leak in my main roof that needs doing. I'm actually going to build a bamboo rope ladder to do that, so that'll be an interesting build. Got to build a perimeter wall, fences, got a lot of landscaping to do. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a list of all the projects and upcoming work that needs doing. Obviously stuff like the hole in the roof is going to take precedence, but if you want to put your vote down in the comment section, get your friends to vote as well by looking at my video and commenting too, and I will go with the majority. Anyway, I'm going to do a video today where I'm going to build an extended rabbit cage for my two rabbits. I feel really sorry for them in that little cage, you know, especially in the heat, and I think they need somewhere to run around. Also, we've had them over a year. They haven't even mated, you know, so I think this is something to do with they're too enclosed, you know. I think a bit of space, you know, a breeding cage will give them the incentive to actually mate. Anyway, I went out today and I bought the materials I need to do this, so let's go and have a look, shall we? There's the mesh I bought. This is 2 meters long by 1 meter wide. This isn't actually welded together, this is just weaved together, which, you know, is adequate enough. It saves me 100 baht per sheet. The other sheets I use for my racking, which is again 2 meters by 1 meter, it's spot welded together. It's another 100 baht a sheet, so I've saved myself 400 baht there. The rabbits aren't going to know any difference. I bought 2 6 meter lengths of square steel. This should be nice and thick enough to do the spot welding. I've got global cut it down into 2 meter lengths, so I've got 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm a little bit short on the uprights, but I think I've got enough in my overhead stock cupboard we can use. Okay, let's get this square steel laid down. We'll get it cut to size and we'll get it tack welded together. So I've just laid the steel down on top of the wire mesh, and what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to weld it onto this piece of steel rather than the end, and just tack weld it on each one. I think it will give it a better tightness. It gives us 5mm leeway either side, so it's actually going to be 990. So we've got 10mm leeway, and we've got the same on the length. So yeah, if we keep that flush with the steel running lengthwise, flush on this side too, that takes us up to 990. And obviously we've got the extra here, which I'm not going to weld to, I'm going to weld to here. Same in the other end, so it's probably going to be about 1 metre 980, so it gives us about 20 mil leeway that way. I don't think the rabbits are going to moan about having 10 mil less area. Yeah, looks good. So let's get this still mitered on the corner. I'm going to mitre them, give it a bit of extra strength, and then we can just butt the uprights on there. The uprights are only going to be 500. Obviously rabbits aren't that tall, they don't need to jump about. So yeah, let's get cracking, shall we? So I've marked the miters 45 degrees, done it on the bottom as well. I'm going to cut this using a hacksaw. I much prefer doing that, it gives me a lot more control. The power tools are a little bit more unforgiving. So yeah, let's get these cut. I'm going to do all 4. There's one end done. I forgot to mention this is actually galvanised steel, so it won't need painting. I'm probably going to do the joints, obviously, because they're going to be welded, and that's going to show and be open to the air. But yeah, let's get the rest of these done. We'll get them laid out on the floor, then I'll get back to you. Well, after cutting this end here, I've measured it down. This is 2.87. And I've decided to put the rest in place, and I'm going to cut the whole lot at the same time, and I'm going to use the grinder. It was okay with the hacksaw, but I ended up having to file quite a lot off just to get that 45 degree angle. It wasn't quite right, so I stopped using my protractor because I couldn't quite get it on the edge of the steel and it was always slipping over. And I bought a set square the other day. Not a very expensive one, I couldn't find a good quality one, so I'll just have to take care of it. But it's got a 45 degree mitre on there, so I've marked that across. My alarm clock out there, except it's not morning, it's evening. But yeah, I'll mark that across. I'm going to cut it, turn it over and do the other end. Setup I've got's not good. Really, I could do with a vise that's got a swivel on it. Swivel button. I could swivel it around this way, maybe do it this way, I don't know, or maybe I can invest in some clamps, then we can clamp it together. I've used cable tie this end just to do it. So yeah, let's get the angle grinder out and we'll cut them off. Hopefully we can get it just nice. So there we go. So we've just got to match these ones up with this one here, which is already mitered on the other end. So these are obviously going to come this way. This one needs to be square with this one here. So let's do that. Okay, they're nice and square with that one. I'm going to put a cable tie right there, tension it up a little bit, and just check it from the other side. These cable ties are just that little bit too short to get it onto the ridge bits I need. See, so I'm going to have to put two together. which isn't ideal because I waste one every time. Just pinch it. Okay, it's perfect. There's a little burr on the end of these, so I should take off with a file quickly. Okay, I'm very happy with that. Let's bolt the other end in the vise. Just double check on that. Yeah, looks good. Okay, let's shift it down the other end and we'll have a look at the cutting the mite to that end. What I need to do here, I need to square it off from the end here, and then I need to take these ones down to the points on the 45 mitre. I'm going to use a scribe on this. And there's the length. Okay, this will be the top of the mitre on all of them. I'm not sure why they're all different lengths. I think it wasn't measured accurately when they were cut in half. Or into thirds, should I say. Never mind. Like I say, we've got a bit of leeway with the offcut, which is a good thing. I'm going to line these marks up with a little hammer. Okay, now we've got it. I've lined the top of these lines. I don't think you can see them, but as I had to touch this a lot, that's why I didn't use a pen. I scratched it into the metal. Each of these lines is now on a 45 degree, so I can mark that up and cut it. Just pinch the vise a little bit more. Okay, there, I've marked it in black ink now, so hopefully you can see that. It's nice and stable, so let's get cracking. I'm probably not going to try and turn these over. It's going to be more hassle than it's worth. I'm going to cut the rest of the way with the hacksaw. Well, it's done, but I'm pretty sure these are not right angles here. Nah, slightly out. Yeah. Front one's right, so I'm going to use that as a guide and knock the rest off with the grinder. I mean, they don't have to be perfect. But obviously this is going to affect the length. Yeah, that's a good 8th out on that one. Maybe I should have turned them over and done it. Never mind. That's better. Much better. I might be able to knock the rest off with a file actually. And this is referred to as a bastard file. It's a little bit coarser than the other one. These are 2 new files that I bought. I'm going to try and look after. So, no filing back and forth, forward only. Like that. Well, I think that's got it. 1, 2, 3, okay. That's number 4, could do with a little tad more. I shouldn't really be using that wheel. It's a cutting wheel, not a grinding wheel, but I'm only doing a little bit. That's better. Good as damn it. let's get them laid out on the floor. So there we go, I cut the steel frame. All four done. Length and width might as well look good. I mean, they're all going to be welded, so it doesn't matter. I mean, to be honest, I really wish I had a MIG welder or a TIG welder. This old beast was alright doing the roof beams and, you know, something with over 1/8, maybe 3/16, but this isn't substantial and you have to be really careful. As I've said in my previous videos, it's fairly thin still. Just got to spot weld it on all the corners and try and get a good weld down the middle. But anyway, the next job is to cut these up. I'm going to cut the 1 metre in half. These are going to be for the sides, and then I need to cut a 1 metre by 500 for the ends out of that, and I'll probably use the rest for my racking. But that's all I'm going to do today. I'm not going to weld it up tonight, it's getting a bit late. Yeah, very pleased with that. That's the bottom and the top of the new rabbit cage. I hope they love it. I mean, I'd like to leave the bottom out, but they're just going to dig down and dig under it and get eaten by a dog or bitten by a snake. Right, it's the next day. Let's get these corners welded up, shall we? See, that's where you've got to be careful. I've blown a hole right in the corner there, so I'm going to have to fill that in. Okay, is that one done? Just got to be very, very gently here, because the power of this arc welder just even blows for this still. And that's how you got to do it. Dab, 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 dab. So even with my careful welding, I'm still blowing holes. I might just have to tack it on each corner and let it do. Okay, that's one piece done. Let's get this second one put together and welded up. Well, I managed to get the top and the bottom done of the cage. I actually ended up welding it on these parts and not this part, like I said earlier. It worked out a lot easier. It's not an easy job with an arc welder. You really, really do need a MIG or a TIG, which is something I'm going to invest in the future. But yeah, quite happy with these. They've worked out rather well. Like I said, I'm going to paint the welds with a bit of primer, seal it off. I went out and bought some new steel today. This will be for the uprights on the corners, and we can get the other mesh in on the sides and the end. Yeah, we've got the uprights in. It's not a bad job with what I've got. Took me a little while. It's probably best that I didn't film it with you hearing me cursing, because I was. But yeah, done all four. I'm going to get these primed up before I get the top on here. I'm going to try and do this methodically like I did the sides. I learnt a bit while I'm doing this. Like I said, I didn't do it on the cross rails, I've done it on the points. There's the top piece put on place. So hopefully it's going to be a bit easier, because it's sort of a nice waist height. And obviously I've got the experience of doing the two sides now, so you know, I have got a method of doing it. These ones that overlap I do first, so I do every other one, and then I go through. By the time I've done that, it's pulled the other ones down, so nothing needs to be there to hold them, no clamping, and I'll just spot weld them all along. Yeah, so hopefully this will be a bit quicker. Okay, let's get cracking. Well, I've got both sides on now. Makes it a bit sturdier. Again, this wasn't easy welding, but what I did find out was the earth clamp on my welder wasn't very good. So I took it off and I put a new one on there. Cut the wire back, fresh copper there. And believe it or not, it made all the difference. So that seems to be the problem. So now I'm able to strike an arc without any issue. So yeah, all that frustration, and it was just a simple earth clamp. Never mind. So what I need to do now, I need to block off one end. So I've cut the mesh already. I'm going to tack that in place. And I knocked up a door for this end. Again, I just mitered it on the corner, done it nice and square. But unfortunately, this corner here is out of square. I should have really checked it as I was welding it, but never mind. So when I get that in place, all seems okay. But once I get the hinges under there, it catches a bit on the top here. It's a little bit tight. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this mitre here. There's a bit of a gap anyway, so I'm going to cut it. I'm going to shave a little bit off and re-tack it. Give me a little bit of extra clearance here. So I'm not going to film myself doing any more welding because it is what it is. So I'm going to get this done off camera and then get back to you. Once we've done that, I'm going to sort out some way of fixing this pipe. The pipe's going to go in around there, so I need to find some kind of frame to put in place there. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet. I'm going to think about that one as I go. But what I'm going to do, once the pipe's in place, and I need to do it in such a way I can remove it, move this onto fresh grass, because you know this is basically going to be the rabbit's feeding cage. But I'm also going to try and put a small bedding cage in here. You know, just in case they do want to mate, which doesn't seem appropriate at the moment. The lady rabbit doesn't seem to like the male rabbit, and she pushes away all his advances. Don't know why. He's a nice looking rabbit. Women, eh? Anyway, let's get cracking. Voila, there we have it. At long bloody last. I'm definitely not going to make anything like this again using a bloody arc welder. That was painful. I've mentioned it once and I'll mention it again. But yeah, I built the door for this end. I've managed to find a little, or should I say a couple of little feet. I don't know where they came from, but they do the job. I just drilled a hole straight through the top bar, through this one. I've offset this one a little bit, so as they go in, one can just push straight down, and the other one screws down, just keeps it nice and tight. You know, I can do it the other way around. I can push this one straight down and then screw this one down, but yeah, great job. I'll put a couple of little bars in there just so I can get the pipe in there nicely. You know, it's fairly tight. I'm probably going to make some wooden wedges to go in the corner there just to tighten it up. Either that or we could put something under here, but I don't think it's going anywhere. And rabbits aren't that strong. And I think I'm going to paint this one green, the same as the floor, because this, you know, it's been quite hard wearing, to be honest, all the welding I've done on it and all the other stuff. So yeah, paint that green, it'll match in. Excellent job. So the next job on the agenda is to go around and prime all the welds. Maybe I could do a little bit of a time lapse for you. Bit of Benny Hill music. But yeah, quite pleased with this. Let's have another look at this gate again. So you can see this one unscrews now till it's out of the door. And that allows the gate to come over here, just, you know, it's not even half a millimetre. We can pull that one straight out. I welded the hinges in place. Again, these got to be primed. But yeah, I thought opening it like this, if we're going to put food in there and the rabbits come up, they're not less liable to jump out if you had it the other way, because you've got to lift it right open. And there you go, got it in place. I actually put this in last night. I tried to film the rabbits coming out, but half an hour of filming and they still didn't come out, so hopefully overnight they've got used to it. I can see some of the food has gone. You know, this is their only source of food and water, so I'm pretty sure they've been out. Yeah, they did come out and join us eventually. Black and white one there, that's the female, Candy. And the brown and white one over there, Jennifer's called him Brownie, which is a unique name. Yeah, they're very happy. They still don't seem to be getting on though. This female one, she was out earlier, the brown one come out and she makes a grunting noise, and they distance themselves, so I'm not sure if there's going to be any mating going on there. Never mind, we'll wait and see, shall we? It's getting very hot now. It's actually about 35 degrees. So the poor little blighters are inside this cage, panting away. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, it's very hot for them. But anyway, now I've got this cage done, I need to work on this one. Because basically, I've used very fine wire, plastic coated wire. Hello darling. Yeah. And they've actually been gnawing through this, that's why I've had to put these tiles up. Yeah, so what I want to do is get some more of this wire, and I'm going to put it around this cage. I've left this cage in place. This is where they used to do their toiletries. Hopefully they can still use it. Yeah, eventually I want to try and get another pipe coming off of this, and we can put this one on, or maybe another one, just basically extend it. You know, I felt sorry for the poor bloody things just sitting in this cage and this one all day. Like I say, I want to try and get them mated, so hopefully it'll give them more room, more freedom. Yeah, very happy with that. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video of the rabbit cage build. And like I said earlier, I've got plenty of projects coming up. Obviously, I've got to get the leak in the roof done. I've got to get the well pump done. Got to get the water tank housing done. I've got loads of other projects in the pipeline. So, yeah, do let me know which one you want me to get on with. And do give me a thumbs up. Do put something down in the comments section for me. Do subscribe if you haven't already. And do share with your friends. And I'll see you next time. There you can see the new racking I put on. When I was in Searatna, I found these hooks. I thought, I wonder what they are. And then I noticed in the shop, they've got similar wire to this, and they use these to hook the goods on. So yeah, I went out and bought 30 of these. Went out and bought 2 meters by 1 meter steel mesh, and this is actually welded together. I bought some hardwood battens. And yeah, I've made a racking to put the safety hats, broom, my cycling shoes, my cycling hat. You know, this used to be kept in the house, and I think it's much better to be able to hold them in the garage. And what I did with the leftover sheet, I've done exactly the same in the workshop here. And I'm going to use this to hang all my sort of carpentry tools and my cycling stuff. I'm going to leave the cupboard doors over here with my mechanical tools on there. Maybe give the boards here a bit of a paint over. But like I say, that'll be ongoing. Yeah, I think it looks quite good, that racking. And it allows me as well to move things about. You know, it's not, if I fix something to the wall, it's in place, you've got to unfix it, re-screw it. But this way, you know, I can do a bit of jiggery pokery when I want. Yeah, very happy with that.